What up, people? Welcome to the Joe McFo Show. We are trying something a little new today. I'm trying out a new streaming platform, and so that's why I was a little bit late. I was trying to do something, some extra stuff, so we're about a minute or two late, but that's all right. So I need you guys to do me a favor and let me know how the audio sounds. Let me know how the visuals come out and everything, because this is brand new for me. I'm using Streamlabs for the first time. I've been using StreamYard for the absolute longest. So I gotta get that stuff sorted out. But anyway, let's get started with our live stream. Let's see. We are going to be working on our Javen turnaround. So last time we were working on the profile view, and I basically finished it after the stream. It only took like an extra hour or so. So I figured, since we've already gotten the front down, we've gotten the side view down, now it's time for the most difficult of the poses, which is going to be this one, the 3/4 front view. And this is difficult typically because it's the most it's the most common angle that we see, right? So we're used to seeing the head, or not the head, the figure, the character in this fashion. So it's one of those things where you have to be able to convey a lot in this pose, because it's so common to see. Music is a bit too loud. Okay, let me turn the music down a bit. Let's see. All right, how about that? Is that much better? Yeah, this is gonna be interesting because I have like all these new features and stuff like that I don't know if they're working properly or not. So we're gonna just kind of go through this the old-fashioned way, I guess. Just you guys tell me. So we're going to start off with work on this one. Now, in the last few streams, or I guess the last stream, I basically worked on the nude form first, and then I jumped to the clothing. So that's what we're gonna do here. So I need to update this real quick. Let me get my timeline set up. Today's been a bit of a whirlwind, you guys. I thought it was gonna be calm, but we had a little emergency with our cat earlier, and things are fine now, but it was definitely kind of scary, so I'm a little flustered, so you have to forgive me for that. And also, not to mention, trying to do this new setup. So yeah, you'll have to forgive me if I'm like kind of spazzing out a little bit here and there. But anyway, let's get our onion skin on, and I'm going to remove some of the key things here. Let's move the color, ink. Okay, here we go. So we have the nude figure of the front view, and now we have the profile view. All right, and let me get rid of those layers. So now this is what we're working with. All right, so how's everyone's week been? Have you guys been good? Have you guys had a challenging week like myself? As you guys might remember from Thursday, I was sick for a lot of the week, so it was pretty challenging. But we're still hanging on there. Let me try and fix this chat thing because I cannot really see it very well. Let me see. There we go. Onion skin is such an interesting term. Yeah, it is interesting. It's basically because it's about layers. So if you think about like an onion, you peel back an onion, it reveals layers, and that's the whole point of this. You want to be able to see the layers of the paper or the animation. So in this case, if it were actual paper, this would be one sheet, then you have this one, then you have this one. So that's kind of where it comes from. So let's get to the inking. I've also tried to do something a little different today. I have been working on new music for the streams, as you guys know. And so what I did is I took some time and I just made a whole 2.5 hour album so that we shouldn't have to worry about switching up songs anymore. It's gonna be real simple and real quick. Let me see if I can also get rid of the noise from the chat because it's a little distracting. I don't know if I can. Let's see. Hold on. Desktop audio. Chat box. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Let's mute that. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. That's right. Ogres do have layers. Deep emotional layers. Deep. Get Javen's chin here. I'm gonna try not to worry about doing new lines. I'm just gonna kind of respect what's there as much as I can. In this case, it's the brown lines, because I notice sometimes when I'm inking, one of the mistakes I often make is I try and like start from scratch when I already have a really strong base, and it's like, what's the purpose of, you know, doing this clean drawing, or I mean not clean, but very like a tight, rough drawing, if I'm not going to use it. So yeah. So this is one of the most challenging poses to do in character design. The video might have not heard me too well because I think the music might have been a little loud. But one of the reasons it's so challenging is because you can't just like mirror this. And like the front view is pretty much the same drawing, just done twice. It's a symmetrical thing. I had the thing turned on so I could draw both sides at the same time. And that saved a lot of effort. In the side view, you're only drawing half the character, so that makes it easier. But the 3/4 view, there's no like duplicate you can create with it. You just kind of have to kind of go all in. So it can be challenging to do that. And you know, sometimes people will also try to do, you know, they'll put the front view and then the side view on top of each other, and they'll say, oh, it has to meet in the middle. The 3/4 is going to meet in the middle. And it's like, maybe not. That's a little naive to think that it'll work as cleanly as that. I wish it would. It would make everyone's lives so much easier. But yeah, it doesn't quite work that way. But yeah, I spent a lot of this week trying to get a new stream set up because I want to do something that makes it more unique. So that's why we have this nice little overlay. I have some other modes, other songs and stuff to play. And I also just wanted to get some alerts. I didn't get a chance to finish those in time. And the biggest thing, I want to try and get alerts for hydration checks, but I think I have to make that custom. I don't think I can just download something that'll work for me right now. If there is, then I just need to figure it out and find a method. But I don't know what that method is right now, unfortunately. Eyebrows and the face. The face is one of the most crucial parts because that's where everyone looks at. No matter how many times you have a really cool looking character, like for his outfit or for you know, some sort of object that they might have, it's the face that most people usually tend to look at. That's what people care about the most. foremost. So I guess depending on the character design, that's not the first thing you look at, but I'm not doing those types of character designs for this project especially. So we are trying something challenging, and we're going to just go all in. Okay, somehow this pupil wound up really large, so let me settle this. Let me actually try this again. Alright, that one's good, and then this one needs a little bit more attention as well. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Let me go to the first view. So it looks like I left a little space at the corner of the eyes, so we're going to change that here. Did I do that on the next one? Can't really tell. It's not really important. Alright, let's get the rest of his nose. Alright, and now let's turn the onion skin back on so that I can get a proper understanding of how his lip is drawn. Got a little bit of a Cupid's bow, which is that little dip right here in the center of the philtrum on top of your lip. I know there's a scientific name for it too, I just don't know it off the top of my head. So I just call it a Cupid's bow. And some people have it way more prominent than others. Like Rihanna, for example, the singer, hers is very prominent. It's actually one of her standout features because it gives her lips a certain shape. So Javen's kind of, he has one too. Let's see how it looks without the, doesn't look as clean as these other ones. Let me see. So first off, his eye just starts drifting up a little bit. One of the things I did, you notice this line here. If I were to turn to the side, you see how now suddenly this eye is a little too high. And don't get me wrong, there are going to be times where some things, even when you turn, appear to shift up or down or something. But in this case, I'm a little concerned it's going to mess with the readability of the character. Hey guys, since I'm on the new platform, do me a favor and type something in the chat just so I can make sure it's not like delaying too much or something like that. I don't know if it's user error or if it's just you guys are chilling. Just say hi, happy to be here. Also, like and share the video if you would. I'm trying to get the viewership up. I was trying to stream on TikTok and the thing just didn't work for some reason, so I'm slightly disappointed about that. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? The show must go on. We out here chilling. Okay, cool. As long as it's working. Whoa, what happened to that line? How did that get there? Ugh. Okay, these lips are gonna be more of a challenge than I would have anticipated. It's looking pretty good now. Get rid of onion skin real quick. Just based on the complexity, I don't know if I'll finish this entirely by the time the stream ends, but we gonna try. we certainly want to try. Okay, it's gonna be like this. This is probably going to curve just a tiny bit like that. I might even bring the ear like this. Because the other thing too, I have to be careful of when it comes to the ear, this is the ear at 100%. Right, because you're seeing the whole thing, but when you look at it at this angle, it's slightly less. You're seeing it at like 75%, and here you're seeing it at like 50. So yeah, it's gonna be a little different depending on the angle you view it at, which I think makes sense because you have a whole different perspective on the body based on the posing and everything. If you've ever done figure drawing, you would see that. Let's get that onion skin back on. Now is the time I'm really going to see how these things are drawn. But I'm going to change the settings a little bit. I don't want to see the... whoa, what did I just do? Register onion skin? I don't even know what that is. I don't want to see the next drawing right now. I just want to see the previous one. So we get a little bit here, and Javen's young. He's got some muscle on him, but he's young, so I'm not gonna really define his muscles that much. So I'm kind of doing it in little pieces here and there. Cage here. Alright. Then we got his belly button. Just gonna pop in just like that. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. Need to check something. One of the things I'm trying out is streaming vertically. I've never done that before, so I'm just like, oh, I'm curious how it works. But I also don't know how to find my video without being horizontal, so maybe I should do that later. legs here. Knees are looking pretty good. Don't want to overdo the legs too much, because even though you guys see I clearly drew these pretty strong overlaps, I don't want to overlap the lines too much because it can start to look strange. Maybe not strange, but it would look like he's really overly muscular. I'm not trying to have him be that. He's still a regular kid. It's a slow night tonight. Must be because of the Super Bowl. I don't think it was last year, but I think the year before, I decided to cancel a live stream, and everyone was like, "But I'm here. We could have done it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll just do it next time." And obviously, last year I was taking a break from my live streams, and now I think I'm starting to experience the real thing. I think everyone's out. That's fine though. I would have been doing this anyway. Oh yeah, sports. Yeah, sports. It's that. My favorite thing. It's funny because I come from a very athletic family. Just about everyone in my family cares about sports except for me, and that's on both sides. And they tried. I've been to so many football, basketball, baseball games, and I'm like, I could live without it. Like, I truly could. I was never one of those people that could like yell at their favorite team. I get why people do it, and I get when something is really impressive. Like, I'll totally acknowledge certain players do very impressive things, but just not my favorite thing. Honestly, I'd rather watch a rerun of a show, even if I've seen it many times before. I feel that. Yeah, I would hope so, because we're married. Good thing we talked about this long before we crossed that threshold. Alright, let's get this core landmark on the chest. Here. Okay, not looking too bad. Not too bad. I'm still not completely convinced about his face just yet. That might need a little bit more convincing. And it's probably still his lip. I think his lip might be a little on the large side. erase this overlap just a bit. Infraclavicular fossa, which is this little, how would you call it? This area just beneath the clavicle. And it just simply means hole under the clavicle. That's exactly what it means. Infra, under, clavicular, clavicle, fossa, hole. You also have a supraclavicular fossa, which would be up here, but I'm not using that for my character. Although, who knows, maybe there will be a drawing in the comic one day where I do have that possible. I actually don't know why I have this ankle here. Probably not going to see that. That was rather silly. Fancy. Yeah. Here to learn you some. I'm gonna learn you some. Now, honestly, this was probably the most challenging part of doing this turnaround, getting the feet, because depending on which one you look at, the angle changes. And it's hard to decide to know which one you want. Excuse me. Sometimes you don't really see the second foot. Sometimes you don't see the top portion of the foot. Sometimes you're way taller than it. It really just depends on the circumstance. This one I don't think is that strong, so let's do that again. Let's see, how does this look? Not too bad, actually. It's not bad. The inside ankle is always higher than the outside, so that's feeling good. Could probably even exaggerate this one just a little bit more. Looks like the last step is really just getting the hands. Making sure the hands are good and check. Okay. This is also going to need a little bit of warping. looking pretty good there. I think I might have to fix the part in his hair. Possibly. Yeah, I think I might need to adjust it on pose. Yeah, it's too high. That's what it is. It's too high on the front view, which isn't that big of a deal. That's actually pretty easy to fix, but I gotta remember to fix that is the challenge right now. So let's do that, and then let's also just get his hands together. Get your hands together. Just like an applause. Hands in a turnaround is always real tricky. It's always tricky. I'm trying to match as best I can what's in the pose before it, in the onion skin. This height as well. Ooh, that hand is not looking good. You know, I might need to sketch this one out a little bit better. Alright, this is what I'm gonna do. Whenever I get stuck in a moment like this, I turn off the ink brush and I just kind of reset a bit. So for example, I can just kind of loosely trace this out. So I know that height isn't going to really change. The angle of it will. Height won't. So and then we got this real thin part of the wrist here. It doesn't have to be as thin as this because we're actually going to be seeing more of it. If you think about the wrist, this is kind of what we're seeing in the front view, and then this will be what we're seeing in the pose we're drawing now. So it gets bigger the more you go to the side. So I'm not worried about that. Petition for Jordan to stream at midnight or at least 10 p.m. Bro. What's up, Mark? Thanks for coming on, man. It's not that different from when I was streaming before. Like I streamed at, was it six? It was 6 o'clock on Pacific time, which is 8 Central time. Now it's 7 Central time, so it's basically the same kind of. It's basically an hour earlier. Just an hour earlier. But the rules gotta change now that I'm married, man. Things are a little bit different. Can't be streaming all hours of the night now, especially in a later time zone. But I'll tell you what, if you have another suggestion, it's still 4 a.m. normal people time. Normal people? What you trying to say, man? What you trying to say? We ain't normal people out here? If you guys have suggestions for what would make a better time for you guys, I'm open to listening, but that might be a little too late for me. That's one of the challenges with live streaming is like, you don't know who you're going to reach around the world. And so being able to appease everyone is a significant challenge, unfortunately. I wish it wasn't that way. Really wish it wasn't. Mark, what time do you actually start work? Because I know you're getting up mad early, which I appreciate. But man, it's still 4 a.m. normal people time. Then you guys still have DST. I'm at the equator near the prime meridian, so yes, normal people time. Sorry. Sorry, brother. That's what we got the replays for, though. Got the replays. Are, and then we should just be able to kind of go like this. It's okay, Jordan. Stream when you can. Work starts at 8, but I get in around 8:20. Oh man, so you just get up like 4 hours before work then? Gnarly. Is it a long drive for you? All right, I think that'll help. Those hands I just drew. I'm gonna turn. Actually, no, I should leave that on. I was gonna turn off the layers, but I think it's gonna mess me up even more if I don't have that onion skin. It's a 20-minute walk. Oh, okay, cool. Not bad. 15 if I rush. Oh, well, hopefully you won't have to do that today. We don't need you rushing. Alright, let's draw the fingernails. I try to get up for Monday streams, but Friday is a stretch. No, I understand, man. I understand. By Friday, everyone's worn out. And you know, for me, it's Thursday night, so it's like, oh, whatever, Thursday night's fine. But yeah, don't worry, man. Honestly, I'm appreciative if anyone can make it to any one stream. So but normally I wake up at 6. Okay. I think my normal has been 8 or so lately. Not 8, I'm sorry, 7. Yeah. Especially since we're both working remote, so it makes life a lot easier. You don't have to worry about traffic or rushing out of the house or anything. Alright, let's see if we can get just get this last hand, then I can move on to the clothing. Let's turn this around. This hand just a bit. Seems like it's a little on the thin side. All right, let's see how we're looking. This is actually not too bad. This is not too bad at all. Let's see. Okay, I got a couple of things in the stomach to add. Well, by things I mean abs, pretty much. Gotta add the abs. There we go. I think we're looking pretty good, actually. What do you guys think? How's Javen turning? I'm trying to find any moments where things like pop too suddenly. I could argue that his abs kind of do that for sure. kind of want his rib cage to be a little bit more shape based as well, so I might come back in here. Shoulder. His left hand still feels slightly off. You're talking about his left hand as in this one? Yeah, it's a tricky one. Let's see. His hand's definitely feeling a little thick. That's probably part of it. Let's change that. Turn it upside down. Let's see. All right, let's try adding some more creases here where the fingers ought to be. Actually, this side of the hand is always tricky, and I'm not using a reference, so if I don't fix it now, I might just end up looking at a reference for it, because it's one of the trickiest poses to do, just in general. Here we go. All right, I think that's good enough for now. Like I said, I can always go back in and fix some stuff later on. All right, next I'm going to do his clothing. And again, we're using a nice ink layer. And let's turn this blue. And I'm gonna need to turn on my onion skin for this. With, maybe not the color. The color might be a little much. Just to check a couple things. So right now, the first thing I'm actually seeing is that his necklace is too short. So I gotta adjust that. Just off the top. This has to be one of the most precise turnarounds I've ever attempted to do. Okay. And you know what? I should probably also put the clothing layer on this one too. There we go. All right. Let's see. Let's pick a nice red, and we're just gonna go for it. So that's spacing. This is such a tricky thing to figure out because there's just a lot of lines to keep track of now. About this. So much going on. Sleeve. I'm trying to just like ignore everything except for the blue lines. That's my main focus right now. Because some of you might be looking at this and like, how is he not confused? I am, trust me, I am. But I'm like, I just need to figure out how to worry only about one thing. So I'm just gonna focus on the blue lines. And that's where the victory will be. See, where does this point lie? I gotta see where his shoulder, the pattern on his shoulder kind of ends. So I think it's about there. If I were to do like that, that's probably there. And probably looking at something like this. Yeah, that feels good. There we go. We're getting it. We're getting it, guys. We're getting it. Realistically, I could just draw organically and fix later, which might be the smartest move, honestly. there's so many little details on them. I want to make sure I get it right. So even here, this is actually going to go in more. When you make an SB series, will it have a catchy intro like everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked? Oh snap! That is our first hydration check of the night. It's been a while since we went an hour without getting a hydration check. So, thank you, Mark, for starting us off. To answer your question, I do want it to be catchy. I do want it to be catchy. I envision it more like a song, though. I just envision it just a straight up song. I don't know about any sort of like prologue intro type thing, especially because I think everyone will compare it to to Avatar, and it'll be like, oh, he didn't do it as well. There's too much pressure that way. Too much pressure. But for everyone who's in the chat who has not said what's up, please say hi. Want to know you're here. Want to be able to interact with you guys. Tell me how you're doing. If you like the stream, if you have suggestions for future streams, I want to hear it all. Alright, so we got this here. And the jacket is kind of forming just around his waist, like it's pretty form-fitting. These lines that we don't need anymore. So one really important lesson, guys, always draw through your shapes. It's much easier to erase than it is to stop early and potentially mess up the art. So always draw through when you can. Not too bad. Let's see. So his cuff is going to go right about here. Just make sure we can match that height. And then we're going to have two cuffs basically right here. Yeah, so what I've tried to do is basically have like a medium shape up here, and then a longer shape down here, and then two little small ones at the bottom of the sweatshirt. Because I kid you not, that has been the most difficult part of Javen's design, is figuring out that part of the sleeves. There's been times where I'm like, man, why did I do this to myself? But I realized that I just didn't have a system. So that's part of why I'm doing this turnaround, is so I can build systems like that. Why do we do turnarounds? I mean, I know why, but why? I actually find them kind of fun, to be honest with you guys. Variety and line thickness over here. my problem is I've just never been satisfied with all the turnarounds. Because the last time I did a full one of Javen, it was like 2 years ago. I even posted on the Discord and I was like, man, this is great. And I look at the one I'm making now and compare it, and I'm like, oh wow, there's a lot of things that I could have done better. But you know, at the time I didn't see it. You know, there's just moments that happen like that sometimes where you want to see a thing or you want to just make something really good, and you're only so limited. I mean, well, not only so limited, but you're limited by your experience and your eye. So that's kind of what prompted these videos, or these last 2 streams, is trying to fix that. Cuff here as well, so that's going to be up there. Have you finished the first issue of the comic, or are you falling into the I can now draw better / my characters look cooler, so I must redo everything trap? That's funny. So I am still working on that first issue, and it's already looking better. But part of it was also because I took a storyboarding class. That was actually most of the reason. It wasn't because of the characters. It was because I was like, you know what, I think I can draw this better, and because there were several issues with the original version, mostly in terms of readability, because I paneled things so strangely that I actually couldn't fit the dialogue in there, because I've never done a comic of this size. It's been a long time since I've done any sort of comic, and I was like, you know what, I just need to redo a lot of it because it happened on too many pages. And so I took that time after my storyboard class to just kind of revise the pages, which only took a couple hours, honestly. And most of the stuff I'm still able to reuse, but because a lot of it was still in the penciling stage anyway, I was like, you know what, I could adjust. So, yeah. Let's see. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. A lot of words used there for yes, but I get it. I can't wait to see Fufu's redesign. I try not to do just simple yes or no. I mean, I did say yes. There's a little more context. wondering why I'm the only one in the chat. Is the Thursday stream more popular than Sunday, Jordan? It's weird because the people who come on Thursday usually aren't always there. But I think it's the Super Bowl. I think the Super Bowl is kind of causing some people not be on tonight. But yeah, it's a pretty slow day. I said this earlier before you came on, but I was trying to also stream on TikTok at the same time. But and I got everything set up. I got a new system for streaming, and for some reason at the last second I was like, nope, we're not doing it. So it's pretty lame. So yeah, but we're gonna try again on Thursday, see if I can fix that. Because I think if I can get on TikTok, then I'll get a much larger audience for that. At least that's the hope, right? Everyone hopes for a larger audience. Alright, let's see. The superb owl. I'll admit, I slept through the last 2 streams while I played on my phone. I've had a wicked cold for the past week and really only started feeling better yesterday. That's okay, Manette. No worries. I was sick this week as well, and now Kathy's kind of feeling it. So yeah, we're just having one of those weeks. So I totally get it. I totally get it. But I appreciate the watch time. At least it was still on your phone. But I did notice you got quiet. I was like, huh, where's Manette? But it's weird streaming because you can't ever tell who's actually watching until someone comments. Like, if there are 50 people in here, but only one of you was commenting, I would have no idea who those people are. I wish it would say. I wish it would be like, oh, so it says in the stream, but they don't do it that way. Probably for a very good reason. But yeah, Thursdays are typically a little quieter, which I expected because of people have different obligations. But I couldn't do Wednesday nights. I'm completely booked Wednesdays. Mondays I do art lessons. Tuesday felt like too close to the Sunday streams, and Fridays are absolutely out. Saturdays are out, so I'm like, those are the only 2 nights that I think I can really make it work. I'll admit, part of the reason I'm here today is I didn't sleep well and I've been awake since 2. Oh man. I hate when that happens. I woke up the other day when I was sick. I woke up at maybe like 4 or 4:30. I think I just ended up staying in the bed because I try not to. I don't like being up that early all the time, especially if I'm still tired. Like, there have been moments where I've gotten up at 4:35 and I was able to get some reading done. I would do the gym and all that, but lately it's been a little too cold for that. So I'm like, nope, never mind. We ain't going outside. Not till the sun comes out. Good thing is I'm not going to work today. I'll catch you on sleep later. Oh, cool. Does your wife also wake up before everybody else too? Or is it just you? Let's see. Not too shabby, not too shabby. I'm gonna have to thicken up the pants once I get towards the knees. And I think I might also need to extend this a little. Let's see. Yeah. No, I try to disturb her if I get up earlier. She's still asleep. Oh, I try not to disturb her. Okay. I read that very wrong. Okay, then we have zipper right here. Yeah, actually, I don't like how I drew this line, so I'm just gonna do this. Make as thin of a line as I can for the zipper. Realistically, I probably don't even need this, but I don't know, it just adds some third level details that I think kind of bring the design some more reality. Copy that, move it over just a touch. It's probably the fastest way to do it. But I think next week I'll be able to return to the comic. I really just want to get this footage for this, because you know, how often do you like really redesign the main character? I'm like, you know what, I might as well just get it on the live stream. Sorry for the background costs. I also haven't been this sick in a while. It's alright, love. Not too bad. Could use a little bit more volume, I think, here. Add some more thickness. You, so sorry. Yeah, we like I said, we both got pretty sick. It started off with me. I was not a happy camper. Admittedly, I think I did get it worse than her. Her situation's not as bad as mine, but it's still not fun. So yeah. I actually thought it was one of the animals. I mean, they might. I mean, Can animals get sick from humans like this, the same way that humans get sick from humans? I actually don't know that. I never thought about it before. That's probably a silly question. Someone's probably like, oh my gosh, did he really just say that? Let's work on the pants now. Most of these don't really jump between species. I think you mentioned you had dogs. No, we have 2 cats. We have dogs across the way, or our neighbors have dogs. Depends on the disease. Some illnesses are transmittable across species, but not many. Thank goodness. Yeah, I don't even want to know what it would be like if one of the cats caught a cold or something, or the equivalent of it. Actually looking pretty good. Actually, I'd probably take better care of myself if I was at risk of giving illness to my pets. That's actually hilarious. Both of the cats are out, especially Yasha. Yeah. Either way, drink hot fluids and keep warm, both of you, him and Ned. Yeah, we all gotta. That's crazy. All 3 of us are feeling ill. That's really sad. But yeah, man, we've been doing ashwagandha, echinacea. Well, echinacea is more for immune health. Ashwagandha is more for energy, actually. But anyway, we've been doing that. We've been doing steam pots with essential oils, hot, cold showers, teas. What else? Zinc, oregano oil. Like we've done a bunch of stuff in the attempt to get better. This song's a bit loud. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. Let's see. My work partner was sick first. We're in and out of people's homes all the time, so who knows where we picked it up. His wife is sick now. I'm surprised my roomie hasn't gotten sick. Oh man, this is just the season for it. I think started to hear a pattern over here. The craziest thing, y'all want to know how I think we both got sick? I kid you not. I think it was AI slop. I'm not even joking. When we went on TikTok on my desktop for some reason, and I just clicked on the tab that said comics and animation or something, or comics and manga, just out of curiosity. I wanted to see how other creators were doing, and I promise you, every single video was some AI slop. And we just kind of watched that like 2 or 3 videos out of curiosity. Like, this is absolutely insane. And from that moment on, I had the most insane headache, and it lasted for hours. And then I just started feeling horrible. I was like, what is going on? So I think AI literally made me sick. I don't know if that's something I can sue over, but that's what I'm gonna blame. Alright, let's see. Alright, the shoes are a little on the small side for this one, so we're going to just enlarge it slightly. And even here, there's a little bit of warping that I think needs to be done. AI assassin. Yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy, man. Okay, let me fix a couple of these moments here. Because right now the clothes are just kind of jumping, they're not really turning the way I want to, so. Yeah, here we go. Let's make it a little bit more straight. Gotta remember the straight versus curves. Very important design principle right there. Straights and curves. I don't think our brains' bodies have developed AI slop resistance. And you know what? There's a part of me that doesn't really want to. Like, how much AI slop do we have to watch to become immune? I don't know. Probably an obscene amount. Warping over here. I just think about all these kids who are just consuming non-stop slop. There's gotta be long-term effects for sure. I mean, shoot, we got sick off of watching for about 15 minutes or less. There's definitely long-term effects. I mean, I think the stuff that AI is being used for is absolutely useless and terrible when it comes to like the entertainment sphere. Like there's no value in any of it. There's nothing entertaining about it. There's nothing insightful about it. It is just painful to watch, and it's creepy on top of that. Like there's just some things that I don't need to know about. So yeah, we have to set up that one scene in A Clockwork Orange. Oh my gosh, Mark, I was just telling Jordan about Clockwork Orange the other day. That is true. She was. I had never seen it or read it. I heard creepy things about it, and she confirmed it for me when she told me what it was about. Yeah. Alright, if I can get the shoes to feel alright. I'm gonna be smart about this. I'm gonna do this in a different color and a different layer because the shoes are kind of tricky. Oh, I was using the wrong marker too, or wrong brush. Couple of straight edges here. Let's see. Oh, somehow I missed all these comments. Kathy, I actually haven't watched the movie, but I know that one scene. I've only read the book. I've heard a lot of people having concerns about kids in particular relying on AI too much in school and not developing comprehension and critical thinking skills. Yes, it's absolutely true. And Mark even confirms I work at university and it's true the children cannot think. Or the children's cannot thinks. Cannot thinks. There are... Here's the thing. We don't even know the long-term issues with something as simple as cell phones or smartphones, right? We're like the first real generation that's gotten into that. We don't even know the long-term effects of that. So you add something like AI on top of it, everything I've seen is basically showing that AI is making people think less critically overall. They're trying to find ways to cheat, and people think it's also like a get-rich-quick scheme, or like a get-out-of-work-free card type of thing. And it's really destructive. Like I've heard people go like, yeah, I'm gonna have AI write my comic or write my script. And I'm not saying that there's not a use for AI to help in the creation process in some way. Maybe you need an exact reference from a movie or something like that, or whatever, and you just need to type in ChatGPT like, hey, what is the exact line of dialogue, so you don't have to go look up the movie. You know what I mean? Like there are certain times where I think it could be useful, but generally speaking, there's nothing that I've seen that's of any serious benefit other than saving time. It certainly is the biggest time saver if it's done right. Assuming it's all done correctly, time saved is immense. But the psychological hazard of it and all the things that are going wrong because of this influx of AI, especially on small kids, is not good. I certainly don't want my kids around that stuff, especially as you're trying to get them to learn to think critically and see what the world's about. That's just a terrible temptation to have. My conspiracy theory is that AI development, especially image and video generation, is the thing to kill human creativity so that they can control what people like or dislike. I think that there's probably something to that. I don't think that's very far-fetched at all. from everything I've seen, it is a great tool to cut people out of the process of making things, and to pay people less. You know, like there's this whole situation with actors, especially background actors, not like the A-listers like the Scarlett Johanssons and the Leonardo DiCaprios and stuff. There's this thing where they can basically take a 360 degree like video image of you or something, and if you were in the background of a film like 5 years ago and they need more background extras, they'll use that photo of you, that 360 photo, and put you in the background, and you won't get residuals or you won't get a check out of that. They'll just use it perpetually. Like stuff like that I think is so evil. And it's like, man, you're gonna cut out all these people from the process, you know. And even this thing from Netflix, this isn't AI specifically, but just the idea of creativity being slaughtered in its own way. Matt Damon, it was either Matt Damon or Ben Affleck, maybe both of them. They basically said that Netflix has this new system in place where they want the stories to be easily understood for people who are probably watching something on their phones or scrolling on their phones while they're watching a movie. So they dumb down everything and repeat the plot points or, you know, certain things a few times because they just assume that people are not watching. And it's like, wow, instead of making better content, you decide to destroy the art form, literally. Like, come on now, man. Like, in what universe is that a good idea? So, yeah, it's really sad. Ooh, okay, those shoes are definitely gonna need to be redrawn. I might have to do it later. Yeah, these shoes are not looking right. I'm trying to figure out how to make it work. Also, so governments can't escape accountability by claiming evidence against them is AI generated. I've actually already seen things like that already. I've seen videos of officers around the U.S. with they're making videos and it's supposed to spark outrage, but you look on the patch and it's AI generated clearly. So I've seen things like that. Irony is that the show or movie is good, we would actually forget we have phones and be engrossed in the story. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, why not make it better and force people to put their phones down and make something great that people want to talk about and enjoy? You know, it's such backwards reasoning to me. I'm like, this is really bottom of the barrel thinking, guys. Come on. But Netflix is more of a tech company than a film company, honestly. So the artistic integrity is not quite the same as an actual artist. It's just a different thing altogether. You know, it's not like the days of Walt Disney where he was like drilling on story and things like that. He was, you know, he really tried to make something great. But and I would argue he did that. You know, say what you will about Disney now, but realistically, when Walt was in charge, things were different. And I'm not saying you have to like every movie, but you could tell there's an artistic integrity that he tried to maintain that many others do not possess. And so, yeah. Okay. But yeah, these shoes are gonna cause issues. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna worry about the shoes later. I'm gonna jump to another section of the clothing. I'll deal with that in after the stream, I think. down just a touch. Yeah, personally, I don't want to live in a world where creativity is so shot that everyone's just willing to accept the worst thing that's thrown to them, you know? Like, you would think with all the resources, all the AI stuff would actually generate more creativity, but instead it's actually causing people to regurgitate literally everything under the sun. And I'll be honest, I use things like ChatGPT. I think it's a great search engine, honestly. There are things that I have found in about 14 seconds or less that it would normally take me maybe like a half hour to find. Or research, because sometimes I ask it about certain videos, you know. So I find it very useful for things like that. But as far as creative stuff, yeah, it's pretty upsetting. It's pretty upsetting. I think that hoodie will work. All right. Let's try it. All right. It's not going to match perfectly, but I don't want the chin and the hood to overlap, so I'm just gonna cheat a little bit. Let's see. I'm gonna remove all these here. These lines that I don't need. Anyway, what sport would Javen play in school? Basketball, football, soccer? That's a good one. I like that one. All right, hydration check number 2. Honestly, he'd probably play a sport that doesn't exist in this world. We actually talked about it on a previous stream within the last couple of weeks. It might have even been the last one where I mentioned it would be something like light capture the flag or laser tag or some sort of shadow boxers version of their game. Like, it wouldn't just be like normal basketball or something. So yeah, it would have to be something really cool. I'm glad you're on, Mark. I missed your puns very, very much. And I'm certain everyone else did. I'm just sorry that it's such a small crew tonight. But perhaps next week when you come on. Or if you're really feeling up to getting up Friday early morning. Coming up with puns is tough. Oh, shoot. We got a third one. Also, each region can have their own sports too. That is also true. I was thinking there would be like a national sport that everyone cares about, but there's definitely going to be more than one. But the question is, how much is it going to fit into the story? You know, that's the thing I don't know just yet. So, yeah. Because I don't want to just do in this world building of stuff that's not actually going to show up. I'm not Tolkien. I'm not going to be creating, 25 languages for the sake of the project if it's not going to show up. You know, that's just not my strength. Especially since I only speak one language, I don't think I'd be the best representative. How do you balance having fantasy sports and anything else and linking them to the real world for the audience? Having fantasy sports and linking them to the real world for the audience. Are you asking like, how do I make sure it's not confusing? Is that what you're asking me? If I'm understanding the question correctly, I think the big thing is sort of like how Brandon Sanderson described Magic systems, and a lot of it is, first off, it's got to be entertaining to watch. You know, like, I'll throw one in. Pro Bending. Here, that's the fourth one. Pro Bending is actually fun to watch, at least for me. I think it's pretty interesting. And you also have to be able to find a way to explain it in a way that everyone quickly gets it. Like Quidditch, for example, from Harry Potter, that's a made-up game in a fantasy world that we literally cannot play in this world. It's like, it's not even like, you could have everyone run on broomsticks, but you can't actually have people flying on it. So I think if you're gonna build a game, it needs to be easily understood, and it can't have so many rules that it's restrictive for people. But like I said, Quidditch, it's pretty simple. You have two teams. You get you have certain balls for the game, and then you have the snitch and all this stuff. So I think it actually is not a very difficult game to understand, and then you could easily see the perception of the game based on the characters in the world. Like, if the characters are excited about it, then it's more likely that we'll be excited about it as well. Hello, lost track of time, but I should say that people actually play Quidditch. I know they play, but I'm talking about like actually flying. That's what I mean. Actually getting up there, flying, 50 feet in the air, trying to catch something. I have seen people like playing on lawns and stuff, and they look rather silly in my opinion. But that's just me. Yeah, we were wondering where you were, Megan. Were you watching the Super Bowl? I figured you're probably not. I just realized I think I need to have an extra line on this front view because the light, the pattern here is not quite visible. Quidditch is okay since it's totally made up, but they also have Wizard Chess, which is based on real chess. That is also true. Yeah, no sports ball for me. I was sick this week, so my schedule got all thrown off. Oh my gosh, you're sick too? Jeez, we were just talking about that. Because me, Kathy, and Manette were all feeling sick this week. I'm sorry you're not feeling well, though. That's unfortunate. I wonder if it had anything to do with the winter storm we just had. Because, like, I was partially joking about, I think AI slap got me sick, but I wonder, because for most people who dealt with the storm, they're probably stuck in their house and didn't get a chance to like go outside and interact with the environment, and their immune system probably got kind of shot. I think that's kind of what happened to me. So we're almost out of here, actually, unfortunately, Megan. But here's our progress. We got the new figure for Javen, and we got this 3/4 view. I think something feels slightly off center, though. I think. Oh, you know what? The jacket is off center. When I look at how much space is here versus here, I just noticed that. Whoops. Okay, we're gonna have to fix that. Let's see. What's the easiest way? What's the easiest way? Do this without changing up everything. So I did this all in one layer brilliantly. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah, that's much better. That is much better. And I can come in here, and I need to kind of re-squish everything. I get sick easily. I think my bad sleep schedule has a lot to do with it. Yeah, I think our sleep schedule has been a little messed up too lately. Man, we're all just dealing with the same nonsense. That is not fair. That is not right. Yeah, I haven't watched the live stream of Thursday's video, but I think my voice even sounded a little different. At least that's how it felt when I was actually talking. It could be wrong though. It's very possible. Alright. I don't have the authority to speak on sleep schedules. No, you do not, Mr. 4 a.m. But we appreciate it, because if you weren't getting up at 4 a.m., then you wouldn't be here. And we love you, Mark. It sounded normal to me. Let's see. All right, for this one, I think I'm going to very quickly just copy this layer purely for the prism. That's all I'm here for. Now, obviously, I'm going to rotate this. But if I can get the right placement, that's what I'm shooting for right now. Alright, there we go. So like I said, I'm gonna rotate that probably off screen. I think next time you see this turnaround, this pose will be done, including with the color. But look what we got so far, guys. He's looking pretty solid, I think. I gotta fix the shoes as well. Those shoes are gonna bug me to no end. But yeah, we did it. So everyone, I want to thank you guys for coming on despite being sick, despite having to wake up at super crazy hours in the morning. I appreciate every single one of you. So with that said, the plan is to stream again this Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, so I will see you there. And everyone, I hope you feel better. Hopefully the sickness passes from you guys soon. All right, y'all. Peace.